this week's video. I have got a real treat for you this week. I'm going to be demonstrating a really simple and quick weeknight dinner that's packed with nutrition and immune boosting properties, which is what all of us really need at this time of year. It is my brown rice shiitake stir fry. Shiitake mushrooms are actually really good for our immune system, and they contain so many of the essential vitamins and minerals that we need for our body to function every day, including vitamin D, which is something that so many of us lack at this time of year. So I'm also going to be throwing in lots of ginger and garlic and chilli and tamari just to give it the most gorgeous flavour. It tastes a little bit like a healthy Chinese, but obviously with far more energising and anti-inflammatory properties. So first things first, I'm going to soak my grains. I'm going to be using some whole grain brown rice and also some quinoa for an added punch of protein. All grains, nuts, seeds and legumes contain an anti-nutrient, and what that does is it binds to the vitamins and the minerals in the food and prevents them from being absorbed into our body. So actually by soaking the grains in some cold water, we start to break down those anti-nutrients so that the nutrients are then available to us. And it's so simple. All you need to do is put the grains into a bowl and cover with some fresh water. Soaking times vary from food to food, but as a general rule, kind of overnight or for 7 to 8 hours should be about right. This step can be so easy to forget, but because we don't always plan our food ahead of time, but if you can remember to put your grains into a bowl of water before you leave the house in the morning, then you're just going to get so much more nutrition from your food. If however you do forget, don't worry, you will still get some benefit from eating them. Just make sure you give them a really good rinse before you cook them. I've got my soaked grains all ready, so now I'm going to drain and give them a really good rinse and then cook them as per their packet instructions. Just bear in mind though, when you do soak grains, they do then take a little bit less time to cook, so just keep an eye on them. Now to make our stir fry. So I'm going to be using some coconut oil because it's got a really high smoke point, which means that it won't go rancid at a high temperature, and it's also a really healthy fat, so I'm going to be using some of that, and then I'm going to get the pan nice and hot. And now I'm going to add in my vegetables. So I've got my shiitake mushrooms, as we spoke about. I'm also going to add in some chestnut mushrooms, some broccoli, which is just cut up into really small bite-sized pieces, and some red pepper. Red bell pepper has actually got 3 times the amount of vitamin C of an orange, so it's a really good immune boosting food. So I'm now going to add in my garlic. Garlic has loads of immune boosting properties, and it also gives the dish the most amazing flavour. A really good tip is to chop the garlic up and then leave it on the side for about 10 minutes before you expose it to the heat, because garlic actually loses most of its medicinal properties as soon as it is heated. So that's a good tip. So I'm going to throw in my garlic. Next I'm going to add my ginger. Ginger has got the most amazing flavour, and also it's one of the best anti-inflammatories out there. So fresh grated ginger like that is just amazing. I'm going to add some red chilli, which is just really finely chopped, and that's going to really get our digestive juices going, and it will also give it a lovely bit of heat. And then I'm just going to mix this all up. You can cook this for as long as you like. I quite like my vegetables really crunchy, so I like to have them just slightly undercooked, but you can cook them to however you like. Okay, so now the veg is really starting to soften, so I'm going to add in some spring onions just because they're really light and flavoursome. I'm going to add in our quinoa and rice now that's been cooked. I'm also going to add in some tamari. Now tamari is just gluten-free soy sauce, so if you're not gluten-free and you want to use soy sauce, then that's absolutely fine, or if you prefer using coconut aminos, that's good too, but I'm using tamari. And that goes. And I'm also going to add a little touch of maple syrup, which is a really lovely light unrefined sweetener. And then I'm just going to give it a really good mix just to make sure all of the flavours are really well combined. And when that's nice and hot, I'm just going to throw in some spinach. Spinach is really high in antioxidants, which is really important for reducing our risk of degenerative diseases. And once the spinach is wilted, I'm going to throw in a handful of fresh coriander. Herbs and spices are your absolute secret weapon when cooking healthily because they add so much flavour and make the dish so exciting. And actually they are all good for something different. For example, coriander is really good for balancing cholesterol, so it's an added bonus in the dish. And that's it, so we can just serve it up now. And then just for a little bit of artistic license at the end, I'm going to add a sprinkling of sesame seeds and also just a sprig of fresh coriander. So that's it. It's so simple, so quick, and just completely delicious. There's lots and lots of colours in there, so you're going to be getting a big variety of different nutrients, which is excellent, and it's extremely immune boosting. So I really, really hope you enjoy it.